Welcome to the Starfish Diaries. I am your host, Liz McKean, and you might have found me from another podcast or from yoga or through coaching or maybe a recovery event, but all that matters is that you're here now, and I am so glad that you're here. On this show, we're going to be talking about identity and self-trust and recovering from all sorts of things, including shame and burnout and squeezing ourselves into what we think good looks like. And I'm going to use a lot of metaphors because that's how I make sense of the world. And I'm hoping that helps you too. I'm really just here to remind you and honestly remind us that there is no such thing as doing life wrong and that you do get to make your life into a place that you want to be. And we're going to figure it out together. So let's go. Hello and welcome back. I'm so happy to, I was going to say see you, and I guess I can't see you, but in my mind and in my heart, I can see you, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you can see me, which the only way you will is if I post a clip of this on Instagram, because YouTube, I'm not doing video yet, you would see that I am sitting here with my hair looking chaotic, in a bathrobe, just generally in a chaotic state right now. And yet, on the inside, I don't feel chaotic. And that's what the episode is going to be about. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Before we get going, as per usual, we're going to do a little bit of breathing because it makes me feel good, and I hope it makes you feel good too. So if you're in a place where you can let your eyes softly close, maybe that will feel good. If you're not in a place to do that, that's okay. Either way, just unclench something. Maybe it's your jaw. Maybe it's the muscles in your shoulders. Maybe it is your hands. And whenever you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose and out with a sigh. Nice. Let's do that again. Even bigger breath. Deepest you can breathe into your belly. Longer exhale out of your mouth. Should we do one more? Why not? Why not? Big breath in. Hold at the top and let it go with some noise. Hell yeah. And we're here and we did it. So welcome. So hi. I just have enjoyed so much hearing from you. If you have been one of the folks who've reached out and said you're enjoying the podcast, it makes me so happy to hear from you. All the ways to reach me are in the show notes. You know, it's just the typical Instagram, I think my email's in there, etc. But just know that if you do reach out, I'm so just almost verklempt at the thought of how kind that is. It means more than I could even say to know that you're listening and enjoying. And also it makes it more fun to do the podcast because then in my, little mind's eye, I really do see you there and I'm talking to you. And how fun is that? Because, otherwise I'm just talking to myself, and I guess that's okay. I do that a lot during the day too, but it's fun to talk to you. Anyway, so today I had a whole different idea of what I was going to talk about. And then I found myself having a Monday that on the outside looks a lot like many Mondays in my life. On the inside, however, feeling very different. And that is a significant thing. So I want to talk about it. Like I said, I'm still unbathed in my bathrobe, just sitting here looking a fright. And in the past, that would have been something I would, first of all, never admit to on a microphone. Oh, it's afternoon. It's 12:20 something p.m. So yeah, this would have been a great source of shame. And I don't feel that way at all right now. I'm not super thrilled about it. Like, to be honest, I actually am a person who feels better when I'm kind of put together, even if I'm just the only one in my house, which is the actual situation minus 2 cats and a dog. But Mondays be Mondayin', I am a person who, even when I've not had a Monday through Friday schedule, have always had a lot of anxiety on Sundays. I've never slept well Sunday night going into Monday. Again, it doesn't have to be connected to anything anything. And then Monday has always felt a little more challenging than other days of the week. And I could pick that apart and all the reasons and, previous, little traumatic events over my life and also just our culture of, Monday. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to talk about the things that have changed because I think that's really exciting. And I feel very proud of the fact that I'm sitting here talking to you about this right now. So like I said, typically struggle on Sundays going into Monday, worrying about Monday. And sometimes often it's not even a conscious practice. It is, because it is a practice, because these kinds of things are habits, right? These are like it snowed in my brain and I have dug out a pathway that is worrying about Monday on Sunday. And that is the only pathway I walked for years and years and years. It didn't occur to me that I could, get a freaking snowblower and just create lots of new paths. And also I have good warm boots. I could just walk right through the fresh fallen snow if I want to. And I didn't do that. I always just walked the same path of it is Sunday. That means worry about Monday. And often that looked like behaving in a way that would indicate anxiety, not wanting to do anything, feeling very tense. Again, not sleeping well, either having a voracious appetite for nothing but Sour Patch Kids or not having any appetite at all and then feeling like crap because I don't have any food in my body. And there's been many times that I've said to my husband, God, I feel so anxious today and I don't know why. There's nothing to worry about. And he would say to me, babe, it's Sunday. This is what you do on Sundays. I'm happy to report that is not as often the case anymore. I have snowblown new pathways. And one of the ways I did that was by reworking my Mondays. And as with every single thing, every single tool that I talk about on this podcast and in any work that I do anywhere, I want to preface it by saying that what works for me isn't necessarily going to be the thing that works for everyone. So if you're listening and you're like, this doesn't apply, that's fine. Listen anyways, because honestly, take what resonates and leave the rest. I love doing that with folks that I, consume content from. And also there are tools that I'm going to talk about now that come from an incredibly privileged place and, a place tools that I didn't have access to years ago and took a long time to, build up to for various reasons. Some of them, unfortunately very systemic and others just growing up wise. So I want to say that, take that with whatever grain of salt is going to make it palatable to hear someone else's experience. Because I know for myself, that can be helpful to have those acknowledgments happen when I hear other people's experience. Anyways, that's a lot of caveats for just talking about a Monday in my bathrobe, right? So I keep my Mondays essentially optional. Like this morning, I had planned on going to the gym, getting up early and going to the gym. But in order to be able to sleep on Sunday night, I knew that I needed to put that pencil it in on my schedule. I will probably go to the gym on Monday because if I have something that is not an option, that I feel like I can't cancel, that I feel like I will consider myself a failure if I don't show up to it, that could very easily create those anxious feelings, and that could impact my ability to sleep on Sunday night going into Monday. So I had a workout I was potentially going to do. I have, 8,000 lists because that's just the way my brain works. Lists on my phone, lists on different notebooks, etc., of things I want to get done this week, and many of them ideally today. Honestly, let's be real, many of them ideally 2 weeks ago, but we do what we can. It's December. December, be cray. So this morning I woke up, got up pretty early, like I always do. I'm just a person who wakes up early, and sat on the couch and, had my tea, and I'm doing a little scrolling, and my husband's getting ready around me, and got to the time that I'm like, all right, if I'm going to go somewhere, this is the time I would get up and go. And I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable right now. I don't feel like that antsy feeling like, okay, I don't want to move, but I should. I just feel kind of relaxed and like this is where I want to be. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay right here. So I stayed. Billy went off to work. And then after a little bit, I started to have those antsy feelings like, oh boy, like it's happening, like the anxiety is happening, And that is my indication. Okay, it's time to do something. It's time to move. So I got up, Did a little like cleaning up here and there, took a look at some of the lists that I had going on and just like picked one or two things and got them done. And then I was like, all right, now I'm going to take a shower. So I got myself, took off my pajamas, put on a bathrobe. I feel like that's a weird thing to say on a podcast. Here we are. And on my way to go take a shower, got distracted by something, got a phone call or something, and did something totally different, found myself back on the couch again. Oh, I think I started doing a video training that I had on my, docket to do. And then started feeling a little bit tired. I'm trying very hard to not deny myself rest these days. So if I started to feel tired, I let my eyes kind of close. And I also had a very warm, very heavy dog upon my lap. So fell asleep for a little while, and that felt really nice until the phone rang and I got a call, and I was like, I don't like to wake right up and talk to somebody. So I, declined the call. I'll talk to them later. And got up and decided, okay, what was it that I was doing? Like, what's my name? Who am I? So got up and did another couple little things. And that kind of just continued to happen throughout the morning from about 6:30 this morning till now. It's been a variety of versions of getting up, doing some little task, whether putting some dishes away, putting, I got some birthday cards and Christmas cards to put in a spot in the house that looked kind of pretty, and then sitting back down and getting engrossed in, either scrolling or, again, that's training or talking to somebody on the phone, etc. And then being like, okay, time to shower, getting up on the way to the shower, getting distracted, once again, being back. And again, in the past, I would have just been like, I am so chaotic. I am such a failure. I should be. I would have been just destroyed by the shoulds. But today, that's not happening. I'm delighted to be sitting here talking to you, having not done a lot of the to-dos that are on my list. I trust myself to get them done this week, and I love myself enough to know that on this Monday that feels a little squirrely for a lot of reasons. It was a really busy weekend. It's December, all the things. I am so lucky that I am so fortunate that I get to just go with the flow of my brain today. I am a person with ADHD, which I didn't get diagnosed till super late in life. I got diagnosed, I think I'm understanding better now that the symptoms that I've always had got really, really uncomfortable and like much less tolerable than they had been, in previous years, likely because I was starting to have like a lot of hormone fluctuations with perimenopause. That's actually, I've learned, is a very common time for women to get diagnosed later in life because those hormone fluctuations can cause a real uptick in symptoms that always have been there, but just become, again, less manageable when your hormones are also running amok. So I've got the hormone stuff. I've got the ADHD stuff. I've got just, the way my mind and body works, and also pathways that I'm continuously trying to reroute in my brain that are, wanting to say, okay, it's this day, or it's this season, or it's this circumstance, and you should be doing this. And if you're not, this is how you should feel about it. But I've put up a lot of blocks for like the best kind of blocks for all of those rather treacherous pathways. When I start to feel like, oh boy, I'm feeling squirrely. Oh, I'm feeling like something really bad is happening. There was a time in my life that I used to reach for alcohol. There was a time in my life that I used to just allow the panic to spiral to the point that, like I said in the last episode, I might end up in the hospital just sure that I was going to die. I might get just trapped sitting on that couch all day long, feeling terrible, looking like I was just sitting scrolling, but actually being absolutely tortured inside. There's a lot of different ways that I've dealt with this over the years. And I also, in the past just had such a crazy busy schedule that I think I just felt like shit all the time and didn't have time to even acknowledge it. And I know that a lot of people very close to me are still in that cycle, and that sucks. And there are so many moments that I can feel my mind starting to go down that path. And because I have inserted these kind of like roadblocks into my mind, like I get that. I'm so excited to hit the block, to be forced to pause. And before just like spiraling right down the hill, it's a pause. It's a what, oh, I'm noticing that I feel this way before I just reach for the thing or, allow the spiral to happen. There's a pause and I get a choice. And that choice can be, all right, I'm going to stay here and take some deep breaths, or I'm just going to allow this to happen and feel like total shit for the day. Like, that's a choice I can make. I don't love those days that I do that, but I get to decide. I could get up and go to the gym if I wanted to. There's times that I do that and that feels really good. Today, it's felt really good to just get up and do little tasks around the house and then feel proud of myself for doing that, and then pausing and resting when I need to. And I actually had this moment a few minutes ago. I guess we're 16 minutes into this recording. So it was, I guess 20 minutes ago, where I was like, gosh, I really feel like talking about this, because it's just kind of funny to me that I'm in this bathrobe right now and I'm looking at the clock and it's lunchtime, and I don't, my chest doesn't feel like there's a vice grip on it, like this is still relatively new. Like I want to tell somebody this, because there's somebody who's listening, who's going to listen, who still is going to maybe be listening with that vice grip around their chest. And I would love to be able to say that it doesn't always have to be that way. And like, there's hope, like it can change. You can change it. You have the power to change it. You have the tools, you have the strength, I promise. And I just decided to start recording, instead of, doing all the things I had to do first before I could do this fun thing on the microphone with you. So that's what I wanted to tell you about today. And I will eventually get myself in the shower. Might be right after this recording. It might be a little bit later than that. I will get all the things done on all the lists that I have, minus the ones that aren't really that important, that maybe felt important enough to put on a list, but then actually weren't. I will have another Monday, likely in the future, where the vice grip is happening and I don't, take care of myself in the way that I am today. And there'll also be probably months and years from now where I'm like, man, I've unlocked even more ways to take care of myself so that I can, plow through the snow in places that I didn't think were available to me. And sometimes, those pauses give me space to take 3 deep breaths the way we did just now. Sometimes I do a little bit of visualization. Like I think about, okay, what am I feeling in my body right now? That vice grip is a really good example. What do I feel in my chest when I say it's a vice grip? And I can actually picture a vice. And then I think, what would need to happen to a vice to not feel this way? And then I can picture myself unvicing. What's the thing? I'm doing it with my hand and you can't see me. It's like rolling down an old fashioned window, but it like releases the vice. And then I can just start to feel myself breathe again. I also had a moment today, actually I forgot about this till right now, where I was feeling that anxiety kind of like rushing into my chest and taking my breath away a little bit. And I did 10 push-ups. And it was just like that energy just needed a place to go. And then I was able to get up and, go on to the next whatever little task I was going to do. So anyways, lots of little tools. I talked about anxiety and self-hypnosis in the previous episode, and this is really just an extension of that. This is really just like that in action. And if I had something, on my calendar today that was important to do, this is a little bit of a strange day that I don't have. Literally today is just a day to get stuff done. And that can be actually, it's like the best feeling to look at a calendar and be like, wow, I get to do whatever I want and need to do today. I mean, I have a to-do list, but like, I don't have to be anywhere at any certain time, which again, I know this is coming from a place of privilege that not everybody is going to relate to, but this is also out of the ordinary for me to have this kind of day. It is the best feeling. And also these are the days that I could struggle the most, because I can just feel like I have everything to do. It all is the most important thing. It is a giant pile of things that I can't even tell the difference from one versus the other, task. And I can just end up being frozen on the couch. For me, that is I attribute that to that part of my brain to ADHD as like that freeze. And I can get a similar kind of freeze if I do have something on the calendar later in the day. I'm not sure if this is something that everyone relates to, but I know I'm not alone in it, in that I could have something at 3 p.m. It's like the worst time for me to have something on my calendar if there's not stuff before it, because I will wake up in the morning and really struggle to move, knowing that I need to get ready at 2 and leave at 2:30 for this thing at 3 p.m. It's like this weird freeze waiting response that happens that I never had language for until I understood this like way my neurodivergent brain worked, and then was able to say, oh, this is a thing. This is a thing that happens. This is the way my brain works, which like interestingly allowed me to like be less connected to it, feel less like this is who I am and this is a personal failing, a personal flaw, and instead be like, oh, this is a way some brains work, not even just mine, and therefore I'm going to find tools to navigate it instead of spending all my time just being mad at myself about it and judging myself and feeling, ashamed and like it's a thing that I have to hide. So that was pretty cool. And I think more and more, whether there's a ADHD diagnosis or hormone, I like to have like a thing I can assign to things. And that just is my method of feeling less like not personalizing the things that I maybe need to apply some tools to make my life work better for. Like that was a very grammatically incorrect sentence. We're just going to let it happen. So anyways, I'm curious if this, I guess, little TED Talk is resonating, and what your experience might be when it comes to, I don't know, ways that your mind works, maybe very similar to mine, where you can get kind of stuck, or where things are just not going to go in the linear way in a day that you expected them to. Or maybe there's a particular day or time that has historically felt challenging to you, the way, Sunday into Monday has felt for me. And I'm wondering if you have found tools that work, if you have found a way to go with the flow of your brain in a way that releases the shame, releases the judgment, allows you to, end the day. Like, I'm going to go to bed at the end of the day today. Oh my gosh, that just felt really good to say. Does anybody else just love going to bed? It's the best. Anyways, I'm going to go to bed at the end of the day today and just go to sleep and not replay every single moment and feel like, oh, you wasted this time. You did this wrong. Da, 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 da. Like, no, I did life the best I could today. I showed up the best I could. Just because it didn't go exactly as planned, just because I was still wearing a bathrobe at 48 p.m. does not mean I am not deserving of like the delight that had on the pillow moment is going to bring me. And between now and then, honestly, who knows what's going to happen? I might get everything done on my list. I might get totally distracted and go on a, what do they call it? What do the kids say these days? A side quest that ends up being a delight. There might be a real big challenge that I need to navigate. And I trust myself to be able to do it. And whatever your day holds, I know this episode's not going to drop on a Monday, even though I'm talking so incessantly about Monday. Whatever day you're listening to this, I hope that you are doing the things that you need to take care of yourself, which doesn't mean, well, which is unique to you. And if you are interested in talking about that with someone and about what tools could be available to you in your own privacy of your own brain and your own body, if you want to put up some blockades for yourself, those gifts of pause in the moments that your mind is trying to hurtle itself down the same pathway it's gone forever and ever, amen, then let's talk. then let's talk, because I can help you with that. There are still, I don't know how many days till the end of the year. I don't know, 15, I guess 2 weeks until that you can purchase a holiday hypnosis. And those are 60-minute hypnosis sessions. We will communicate before that session to find out so that I can have a better understanding of what you're trying to work with, answer questions that you have so that when we get into that 60 minutes, we are just using those 60 minutes for you. If you're not sure if you want to do that or work with me in another way, I also have just a free, I can't remember if it's a 15 or 20 minute call that you can schedule with me on my website. Again, everything's always in the description. And you can just schedule a call or send me an email and we can talk about ways that maybe we can work together and maybe I can help. And you also are welcome to just reach out with questions. I'm happy to respond in any of the places that I talked about before. Because there's like actual tools, like it's not just, you don't have to figure this out on your own, and there's a million places on the internet that you can go and find all like lots of different modalities of ways to support your mind, your body, your brain, your unique setup. And also that can feel incredibly overwhelming. So maybe ask for help if you feel like you could use some help. And that's what I'm here for. And if you don't want to do that, you just want to keep listening to my little voice on this podcast every week, that's really great too. I hope you keep doing that. I hope you keep showing up. Showing up here it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me. I'm deeply grateful. And it's a big deal for you. It's and I don't mean that in it's such a big deal for you to show up and listen to my voice. No, I mean, it's a big deal to take the time to hit play on something that you know is going to take, you're going to spend some time just doing a thing you want to do. So I'm glad that you did that. I'm proud of you for doing that. I hope you feel proud of you for doing that. Hit subscribe on whatever podcast player you're listening on so that you don't miss any episodes. I'm so grateful for you being here. And what I would love to do now is to take a few deep breaths together. So let's do that. So again, wherever you are, maybe you allow your eyes to close. If you're driving or doing something else that requires vision, then please don't close your eyes, but find something to unclench. Find something to soften, right? Maybe it's the space between your eyebrows. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in through your nose and a soft sigh out. That's the stuff. Pause at the bottom. That's different. And now take a deep breath in through your nose. Longer exhale out of your mouth. See if it can be double the time that you inhaled. Good. One more. This one we're going to hold at the top. Big breath in and hold. Feel that rib cage expanding. Feel that all space inside of you. Hold one more moment, maybe a smile, and then open your mouth and let it go. Good job. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. You're wonderful. I adore you. Whatever your day is looking like, it's fine. You're fine. Perfect just the way you are. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Starfish Diaries. I want to take a quick moment to thank some of the people who have made this possible. The artwork that I am so in love with is by my friend and the most talented artist, Mo Houston, and you can find her and her work and work with her by going to Joy Scout Studios. I will have that linked in the show notes. And thank you to my incredible editor, Sean Gritters. If you are looking for production support with your podcast, highly recommend that you check him out. His information will also be in the description.